All right. Welcome back to episode 15 of the Navigating Leadership AP Roundtable, sponsored by Unlock the Middle. Thank you, Dean and Chris. We always give you the shout out because we appreciate you giving us this platform. So, whether you're joining us live or whether you are checking this out on the recording, I have Ryan Scott and Jonathan Moore with me tonight. You've seen Ryan a number of times as co-host, and you have seen Jonathan twice, Jonathan, or just once?
Just once, actually. Yep.
All right. Well, either way, we're here, and we're going to kind of just give you a little bit of motivation going into the end of February and into the long March that we have coming for us here in education. We're going to talk about the things that we still love. But before we get to that, let me quick throw it around. Ryan, tell the people where you're from and say hello.
Hello, people out there. So I am Ryan Scott. I am the assistant principal at a high school in beautiful Western Kentucky. I'm about an hour and a half south of Evansville, Indiana. So, so I'm in Kentucky, and I am super happy to be here and super pumped to talk about, let's flip the switch a little bit and let's talk about the amazing things and the positive stuff that we are getting to see and be a part of in this great profession. So, Jonathan, what about you?
Perfect. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Jonathan Moore. I currently reside in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I serve as a assistant principal at a middle school here. And like Ryan has said, I'm just glad to be on tonight so we can talk further about changing some of the narrative that we're hearing right now when it comes to education. I feel like, when you say education, especially as educators, we kind of think about the negative, but it's good for us to pause and just say, hey, there are some good things happening right now, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jonathan, well said. And quick shout out, Josh Tovar. Thank you for joining us. Our guy Josh, always there for us, support us as the APs. Jonathan, well said. And, there's so much negativity out there, but we got to stay positive. So we are sending you the love from the AP side of this. And
yes.
what we're going to do tonight, we're each going to give you kind of one little thing that we still love about education that hopefully will help you if you are struggling, because we know so many people are, keep that negativity at bay and push out that positivity and that hope that Ryan will speak about in a little bit. So, you know what? Why don't we start it off? Ryan, you want to kick it off? Let's start with your one thing that you still love about education.
Okay, so guys, we pre-gamed and I had an idea, and you know what, like always happens with me. Right. My ADD kicked in. So, I had said one thing, but honestly, AJ, as you were talking, I'll be honest, I'm blessed to be in a profession that I truly feel like I was called for. I'm a firm believer that, some higher power puts you in a particular place at a particular time for a particular reason. And, I'm a big believer in the God winks that happen every day if we just keep our eyes open. This is a really, really, really hard time, I would say, for 99.9% of all educators. That 1/10 of an educator, the only reason they're not having a hard time is they're just not paying attention. And you're right. I feel like we're like almost in an echo chamber where the only things that are coming out on social media are the negative things about education. I say this all the time. My daughters get tired of it. Feed the positive dog, right? There are plenty of negative things. But if I constantly feed myself that negative, guess what? I'm going to be a negative people, and my students and my staff do not need me as a negative Nelly. They need me as the positive guy. So I would say right now, I am super stoked to be in a profession that honestly, even if it's a horrible day, I'm in a place that I'm supposed to be, if that makes sense. So, Jonathan, up top. Wait a minute, where are you? There you go.
Yeah.
Jonathan, how about you, man? What's going on? What are you happy about and all of that stuff?
Yes, I agree with everything you just said, Ryan. In addition, I would say that I am just glad to be able to work with people who kind of share the same views that I do. Oftentimes, we are kind of placed in situations where um, the person that is next to you is thinking about their day or the situation that's happening differently than you. But I'm so glad to be working with people who have a team mindset, who have a mindset to say, I'm going to do what's best for children, because that doesn't happen every day. And
Absolutely.
especially like you just said right now, with being in this tough situation where we're hearing things that are just mostly negative, it's easy for educators to be consumed in that and then want to just give up. But like I said, I'm thankful to go every day into the building and be with educators who are going to be pushing through. That keeps me encouraged. And if I'm encouraged, I can actually be more of a benefit to my teachers, who are then benefiting our students, so
Beautiful.
they feel supported and cared for to kind of keep pushing through. So to be honest, it's how, as educators, we come into the building each day, how we think affects our students' mindset as well. So I'm definitely thankful just to be around those people. So yeah, that's my positive, just being around those people who have a team mindset, who are going to persevere and keep it moving and do what's best for our kids.
Man, you guys are on point. Like both of you, completely on point. I think, we don't need to be that negative. If we are that negative person in our schools, then our staff's going to act that way. Our kids are going to act that way.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to have that negativity throughout the whole school, and you're going to ruin the climate and the culture of the school. And we don't need that. As the APs, I feel like we are the ones who are very visible because we are running and doing and trying to make sure that everything's under control, so that the principals of our schools can take care of the bigger issues that we're not privy to, right? So when I think about, Ryan, you had said something that really struck something with me, is that calling, right? Teaching and education for me is something I've wanted to do since I was 12 years old, and I wanted to be a teacher. I loved it. I wanted to be a social studies teacher. I wanted to be an elementary teacher, but that didn't work out. I didn't enjoy that aspect. Then I found middle school, and I loved it. Going through my career, I found myself doing the leadership thing a lot more and finding my passion in leadership. And my thing that I still love about education is the connections with people like you guys and the rest of the community that we have brought together via social media, and my PD people that I'm meeting throughout New Jersey and New York and even Connecticut. I think those are the people who have kind of pushed me to want to do more. Those are the people who have pushed me to want to be a better educator. Obviously, it's the kids who I want to do better for them. But at the same point, I have some great people who are sharing some tremendous ideas. I know a lot of us are connected on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram.
All over the place.
All over the place. We have Voxer groups that we are part of that, Ryan, I know you share a lot in the Teach Better community, through the, the Aspire Lead community through Voxer. So there are some tremendous people out there who are seriously pushing the idea of positivity, hope, and, education as the way that we can do better. I see a lot of these posts out there lately about negativity and the downfall of education, and everybody's tired and everybody's ready to quit and everybody's trying to find a new job. And like, I saw something the other day that was a TPT, Teachers Pay Teachers handbook. Somebody selling a kit that you can use to find a new job with just a teaching degree. And what does that do for us, right? Now we're pulling people out of a field who are passionate, but who are tired right now. We're all tired. We are all tired. We're all doing different jobs. We're all trying to keep our schools above water. And if you're the one who's going to say it's not worth it, then this wasn't your calling, as Ryan had just said. Then this is just a job for you. We're giving up time on a Tuesday night right now to hopefully motivate and inspire some people out there who's like, you know what? This is what I've always wanted to do. This is why I became an educator. This is why I became a leader. Keep that in mind. You didn't do this for the money. You didn't do this for the pride. You didn't do this for being rich and famous and getting your name on the news, right?
I did.
Oh, sorry, my bad. That's why we have our
My
YouTube
bad.
show, right? We're on YouTube. We're on
That's right.
YouTube, viewed by 35 people. But in all seriousness, if you're out there and you're struggling with this idea of education and where it's going, take a second to step back. Look at everything you've done up to this point. Forget these last 2 years. It's been hard. Next year is going to be a little bit harder, but you're going to find it finally level out next year. Once we get to this groove and we're out of this COVID nonsense, or COVID minimizes itself, it'll be whatever it is, we're going to find our path to go to education the way it's supposed to be.
Well said, man. Well said.
No doubt. No doubt. All right. So going forward, we gave you the thing that we love. If you're listening and you want to share something that you love, you got the comments there. If you're not here watching this live, then feel free to tell us what you love. You got our Twitter handles on the screen. But let's keep this rolling a little bit. So one of the things that we said is one thing we love, and then one thing that we're going to do to help our staff move forward. So what's something, gentlemen, you're going to do to help your staff, to help them find the passion to help drive forward?
Well, I'll go ahead and start.
Go ahead,
So a few of us, we, myself and a few teachers, we have started a book study. We are going through and reading Closing the Attitude Gap by Principal Kafele.
Oh yeah.
And just in those conversations, we're only at chapter 2 right now, but it's just amazing to see like how we all are just pulling out different information and how it applies to us. So to be honest, for me, it is making sure that we are reminding educators of their why, because like I said before, it's very hard to be grounded in that during this time. But to me, it takes conversations, sitting down, being vulnerable, creating that safe space for us to really feel like, hey, it's tough, but we all are feeling this, but with the support of each other, we can get through. So for me, it really is that whole mindset piece and making sure that we are reconnecting what our passions and our missions are when it comes to education. That's what we're doing right now with that book study. So for me, that just has encouraged me to keep moving forward by being in that safe space with those educators.
Yeah, Jonathan, I'm gonna jump in real quick. And Ryan, I'm sorry if you
No, go ahead, AJ.
Yeah.
We're doing a book study in my school too. We're doing Find Your Why by Simon Sinek. And it's the same premise, remembering why you got into this and pushing forward. We're doing it with a small group. We're not doing it with the entire staff. I think it's 7 people, but those 7 people are grounded in like, this is what I need right now to push myself forward. And the hope is that those 7 people continue to push out the ideas to the rest of the staff, that maybe they want to jump in, or maybe they want to have that conversation. They don't feel comfortable in the small group. They don't want to read right now, but maybe they'll have that conversation. So I'm really curious to hear, what goes on with your book study going forward, because first of all, Principal Kafele is the absolute legend. And I think he's amazing. As Josh Tovar says, episode 70, put that back up on the screen. Episode 70 of the Principal Kafele Academy for Assistant Principals is amazing. I don't know if Josh is giving himself a little plug right there, if that's his episode or not, but I'm just saying, if you're watching those every week, and Principal Kafele is just outstanding right now. But sorry to jump on you like that, Ryan. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So when I saw JT come on the comments, I've got to be honest. I was really hoping it was Justin Timberlake. Josh, I love you. I mean, you are my EHO, but I don't know. I was kind of hoping to get a little Justin Timberlake up in this. So no. So what am I doing to try to help my staff? Look, I'm just trying to be me. Quite honest, I am trying to be. I kind of wear this badge with honor, that I am the elementary guy. I'm the guy that spent 12 years in elementary, and I've kind of brought some of that. How do I say it? Some of that elementary flair up to the high school. And I proudly wear it. I have, not everybody loves my positivity, but dang it, I don't care, because there are some people in my building that they thrive off of it, and they just need to know that it's okay to be in a positive mood during these days. But then at the same time, it's not like, I let them know when the days are tough. The days are tough. But at the end of the day, every day I try to show up in a positive mood. I try to share positive things. I try to give my staff members as much, positive comments about their teaching or about them or, things they're doing in their classrooms. God winks that, they come and talk to me about. And then on the flip side, I've tried to be that positive person for my kids. Because where I'm at, we have 0 mental health counselors in our high school. We have a amazing guidance counselor, but she is swamped with guidance counselor stuff. And for whatever reason, we cannot keep any mental health counselors in our building. Like I said earlier, we're in a small community, very low resources. And so I have really tried to be that adult that my students can just break down with, that can come and talk to me about anything and everything. And I tell them all the time, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a professional therapist, but I'm a really good listener. And so, my kids know, all of my kids know that I've got their back. And last week, I was privileged to be able to give a presentation to all of our freshmen about life being the hardest thing you ever have to do. And if anybody tells you different, they're on drugs or they're an idiot. And I gave them all the ACE screener. We talked about adverse childhood experiences, but then we also talked about the healing power of relationships and about stress and things that we can do. And I tried to make sure that I validated the feelings that they have as a high schooler, that sometimes us adults try to negate. Sometimes adults, we say it, and I've said it to my own. What do you know about stress? You're in high school. Well, stress is stress is stress, and your brain feels it the same way, whether you are an adult or whether you're a child. And so like I said, I'm trying to be that positive person for my staff. Trying to support my staff as much as possible, trying to let my staff know that I'm there for them. But then on the flip side, I tell my students every day I love them, and I hope they know that I mean that, because they need another positive person in their life right now. Yep. And then I guess, I would also say I'm trying to spread a little bit of hope. Anybody out there that's heard me talk about before, I'm in the middle of writing a book on hope, a little thing that I call the hope coefficient. I believe that, and there's research to back this up, but that every child has this little thing within them called a hope coefficient. And there's tons of research out that a better predictor of academic achievement is something called the hope scale than actual assessments, any type of standardized assessment. And there are very concrete ways to build hope. So I'm really trying to not only learn about it, but pass it on in my book, and also trying to find avenues to weave that into conversations with some of my staff. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, Ryan, because, I think people could listen to you and say, oh, this guy just wants to bring positivity. And I think there's a difference between what you're trying to do and the idea that's been being tossed around with this toxic positivity.
Sure.
Right? It doesn't sound like that's what you're doing at all, because you're telling people that you're staying positive. But however, at the same point, you're talking about the hardships that we face on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah. So yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off, man.
No. Do it.
No, I'm very transparent with my people. Look, I suffer from anxiety. I suffer from imposter syndrome every single day. I talk to people every single day that your brain, its number one function is to keep you safe. So because it wants to keep you safe, it tells you lies to try to prevent you from being hurt. And you have to constantly tell your brain to shut up. And I do. I tell them, as a child, I suffered from severe depression, substance abuse, all of that stuff. So, no, look, I pride myself on being real, very real. And I think people, or at least I don't know any other way, I guess is the way to say it.
And that's fair. I think it's good that you share your life story, your passions, your ups and downs with whoever it is, whether it's with students, whether it's other educators, because people can just think, oh, look at this guy, he's got everything he wants. He's positive. He's got a family. He's writing a book. He's got a podcast. He's doing all these things, but it's hard to press record. I saw you tweet that a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week. What do you do when you feel that imposter syndrome, or when does it come? And I said, forget about being an author, forget about being like, just press and record. Even when we say press live, like sometimes like, why are we doing this right now?
Yeah, right.
We can, it's so easy to just kind of like put a pause on everything that you want to do because you have that fear. So it's good that you are positive. However, on the flip side, you are able to share the things that you are feeling because it makes you a person. It shows a vulnerability, which is what a leader should have. Because we're not all going to continue to rise. We have those days where we're down. We have those days where we're failing, and it takes one little boost to put us in the right direction. I think you're doing that very well for your staff.
Well, look, you can't have a roller coaster without the ups and downs.
Ooh,
the best roller coasters have the best highs and the lowest lows, and that's just life, man. You just got to hang on tight.
I like that.
Yep.
Put down the book, man. That's got to go in the book. Chapter 6. But kudos to you, man. I can't wait to read that book. So I know it's not something you want to talk about. That's not the focus, but we'll get there because that book's going to be
definitely not here to toot my own horn, but
but you're allowed to. You're allowed to.
Exactly.
So you're doing something big. You're doing something big. All right. So we're about 22 minutes in, and I don't think we're going to go much further than this. But again, if you're listening, if you're an assistant principal out there and you're kind of stuck and you're not sure what you want to do, build the relationships, whether it's staff, whether it's students, find the thing that you still love about education and keep pushing forward. Make that your thing, whether it's for a day, a week, for the rest of the year, whatever you want to do. Find that one thing you love, grab it, hang on to it, and keep pushing forward, and bring that to your staff. All right. Let your staff see a different side of you. Let your staff see your vulnerability. Let your staff see your positivity, and let it spread out. Yeah, I think it's that simple, right? If you find that one thing, you find the positivity, you find that push forward. We got a bunch of months left, probably about 100 days of school still. So it's not ending anytime soon. So don't throw in the towel yet. Keep pushing forward. Keep finding that thing that makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, gentlemen, I'll throw it to you. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we say our adieu?
Y'all have been awesome. The whole time you were talking, Ryan, I was just kind of thinking about being authentic. That's how I would sum it up. Being an authentic educator, that truly goes, in my opinion, further than any educator just trying to, you just said imposter syndrome. When kids see that you are authentic, that right there breaks down the barrier. Once that barrier has been broken down, then they actually can sit in class and actually learn what you're trying to teach them content-wise, because the barrier of the relationship has been broken. So I just really feel like authenticity is key to make sure that we are doing what's best for our kids.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I would say also for those APs out there, or hopefully there's some teachers out there, like if you are struggling, let your people know. Mm-hmm. Every week I try to send out a Google form to all of my staff, and it's called the Trojan Staff Check-in, because we're the Trojans. And I just ask, how are you? What can I do this week to help you thrive and not just survive?
Yeah.
And when people are asking you those things, if you're out there listening, they mean it. So don't be afraid to let on. We have had some staff this year that have really struggled with some mental health issues, and they put it on the table. Bravo to them. Mm-hmm. you know, in the best, how do I say this? In the best organizations, you are a family.
Yes.
I don't know how else to say it. You are a family. You go through the highs together, you go through the lows together, but the main thing is that you do it together, and that you assume that everybody else in an organization is doing the best that they freaking can at that moment. And it's our job to be human and help each other. And so reach out if you are not doing okay.
Mhm.
I guarantee any of your administrators in your building would cover your class for 5 minutes so you could go and take a lap around the building.
Mhm.
I guarantee anybody in that building would, take 5 to 10 minutes after school to just decompress and talk about how the day went. Get a group together and meet at the school at 5 in the morning and work out. I've got a guy that we meet every morning at 5 and we work out. That's our stress. That's our stress relievers, but don't think you are in this by yourself. The minute you think that you are by yourself is the minute you will start to, what's a good word?
Drown.
There you go. Absolutely. You will start to drown. So don't
Mhm.
forget, you are not in this alone, guys.
Well said. No, I'm glad you guys brought it tonight. I'm glad you guys brought that motivation. You brought that positivity. You brought that idea. We're all struggling. We're all struggling. We're all finding ways to get through it. It's not easy. Again, don't throw in the towel. Keep pushing forward. Find the things that make you happy. Find your team of people around you that will continue to push you. Stay off the negativity in social media. Get your steps. Get your workouts in.
Mhm.
Maybe eating makes you happy. Go ahead. Go eat. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
But don't give up for the kids because they need
Mhm.
you.
Yes.
All right. As we end, let's just go around one more time. Jonathan, why don't you tell the people out there where they could find you, where they connect with you, and anything you got going on that you want to share?
Mhm. Yes. So my Twitter handle is below. It is Mr_Moore BME. Please reach out to me, connect. I love networking. So once again, thank you just for inviting me on as well. But like I said, my Twitter handle is below. So thank you so much.
I love it. Ryan, go ahead.
Right on. Thank you, Jonathan.
Mhm.
And I must say, it's really nice to have another Southerner in the building.
Yeah.
AJ is the only Yankee on this call this evening. So no, I am, like I said, I am Ryan Scott. I am like below, somewhere over there.
There you go, right there.
Ryan C. Scott 1981 at Twitter. So you can find me there. You can find my podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all of those things. It's called the Big Ed Idea Podcast. If you've got a crazy idea that you think can change the world of or through education, throw it out there. Hit me up. Let's talk about this thing. Also, just launched a website. It's in beta version right now, so hopefully within the next couple of weeks, I don't know how this lucked out, but ryanscotted.com. I thought for sure that would be taken back. I don't know why, but or other than that, Instagram Ryan Scott 1981, or look me up on Facebook if you want to see what my crazy family's doing.
There you go. And don't forget that book. Make sure you
And in my book, and it
plug
will
that
be
book.
coming out. It's by Times 10 Publications. They are the ones that wrote the hacking discipline, hacking leadership, all of that whole hacking series. An amazing team that have just, like, from the very beginning, I was like, what do you want me to write a book about? And they're like, no, really, let's write a book. And I was like, okay. So they have totally been dealing with my imposter syndrome. And so, yeah, look for that. The tentative release is May of 2023. Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And you find me Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, AJ Bianco. From there, you can find the podcast that I'm on, whether it's Podcast PD, or that I do with Chris Nessie and Stacey Lindis, or at Reflect Ed Podcast, which is my podcast where we reflect on education and look at the things that we are proud of and the things we want to continue to improve. So Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening, this morning, whenever you're listening. We appreciate it. We will be back in 2 weeks in March 1st, I believe, if my dates are correct. So here we go. Let's end the month on the right foot, and then we start off March on a better one. Take it easy, everybody. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, guys.